Every day you wake up, your mind begins its routine, thoughts repeating like background noise. Doubts, fears, comparisons. It's automatic. You've been programmed to think a certain way. By your past, by your pain, by people who told you what you could or couldn't be, and unless you stop and take control, that programming will keep running the show. But what if, right now, you paused? What if, in the next 10 minutes, you could begin to rewire everything, reprogram your thoughts, reprogram your entire identity? Because here's the truth, your mind is not fixed. It's not some machine stuck in its factory settings. It's moldable, trainable, and more powerful than you've ever been told. You don't have to be who you've always been. The version of you that doubts everything, that fears failure, that seeks validation, that breaks under pressure, was programmed by repetition. Now it's time to reprogram yourself, with intention. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. And it starts with one decision, to stop being a slave to old thoughts. Most people never make that decision. They live and die with the same beliefs handed to them by parents, teachers, society, trauma. They walk around thinking, this is just who I am, but it's not who you are. It's who you've become by default. Real power is when you choose who you are on purpose. Let that sink in. So take a breath, right now, and let go of the noise. That voice telling you you're not enough, not yours. That fear telling you you'll fail again, not yours. Those doubts that rise up every time you try to break out of the pattern, not yours. They were installed by pain, by people, by past moments, but they don't belong in your future. To reprogram your mind, you must start by disrupting the pattern. Don't respond the way you always have. Don't think what you always thought. Don't speak the words that keep you locked in your old identity. Say something new. Think something different. Interrupt the script. Because every time you do, you create space for transformation. It's not about suddenly becoming someone else overnight. It's about taking your power back, thought by thought. Most people believe their mind is the master, and they are the servant. But it's the other way around. You are not your mind. You are the one observing it. And if you can observe it, you can control it. And if you can control it, you can change your life. So here's the first command to install into your new programming. I don't believe everything I think. Repeat it. Say it again. Write it down. Because your thoughts are not always truth. They are echoes. Echoes of the past. Echoes of fear. Echoes of who you used to be. But you're not here to echo. You're here to evolve. That's why you're watching this. That's why you're still listening. Some part of you knows it's time. Time to stop being reactive. Time to stop being stuck in cycles. Time to stop replaying pain on a loop and calling it reality. You are not your history. You are your decisions. And the decision you make in this moment can alter the direction of your entire future. So decide. Decide that you're not going back. Decide that every old thought that disrespects your growth has no home in your mind. Decide that your mind is your ally, now not your enemy. Because once you do that, once you reclaim your mental power, the world begins to shift. People start to treat you differently. Opportunities begin to appear. You move with more certainty. You speak with more strength. You stop seeking permission and start living with purpose. But it starts with what you allow in your head. That's where it all begins. That's where everything changes. You were not born weak. You were not born to be a slave to fear, to doubt, or to the opinions of others. Somewhere along the way, someone taught you that your voice needed permission, that your power required approval, that your worth depended on what others thought of you. And that teaching, it's a lie. Reprogramming your mind starts with rejecting every lie you've ever been fed about yourself. You are not here to play small. You are not here to react. You are here to create, to lead, to choose who you become, not to be shaped by what happened to you. But here's the truth. You cannot create a new life with an old mind. You cannot build a new future using the same thoughts that kept you stuck in the past. If your mind is full of fear, hesitation, guilt, self-doubt, then your future will only echo those same patterns. So how do you break the cycle? You start by becoming conscious. Most people go through their lives in a trance, repeating the same thoughts every morning, reacting the same way to challenges, making decisions from the same emotional state. They wonder why nothing changes. They call it fate, but it's not fate. It's programming. You are running on mental software that was installed without your consent. But today that ends. Right now in this moment you decide to take your power back. You decide to observe your thoughts, to question them, to delete what doesn't serve you and replace it with intention. Because your mind is not your enemy. It is your greatest weapon when you learn how to use it. Start paying attention to your inner dialogue. Is it empowering you or destroying you? Would you speak to someone you love the way you speak to yourself? If the answer is no, then change the script. It begins with language. Stop saying I'm not good enough. Stop saying I'm just not that confident. Stop saying this always happens to me. These phrases are not harmless. They are instructions to your subconscious mind. They are commands. Every time you repeat them, you're reinforcing a reality you say you don't want. So say something different. Say I am capable. Say I am becoming stronger every day. Say this challenge is making me unbreakable. Because your words are the code that rewrites your mind. And then you act. You act like the person you want to become. Before you feel like it. Before you believe it. Before you're ready. Because belief doesn't come first, action does. And action creates proof. And proof builds belief. You don't wait for confidence to speak. You speak and confidence comes. You don't wait for motivation to move. You move and motivation follows. This is how you train your brain, through repetition, through discipline, through daily choices that reinforce who you are becoming, not who you've been. You want to reprogram your mind in the next 10 minutes. Then choose different thoughts, speak different words, take different actions. It doesn't take years. It doesn't take perfection. It just takes one decision, made now, and repeated again and again, until it becomes your default. And here's the most important part. Do not expect comfort. Growth does not feel safe. Transformation is uncomfortable. Your old mind will resist it. It will try to pull you back into the familiar pain. Because familiar pain feels easier than unfamiliar power. But you are done settling for easy. You are done living as a victim of your conditioning. You are done being small. The person you're becoming is not reactive. They are intentional. They do not complain. They do not ask for permission. They give themselves permission. They do not fear failure. They use it. You were not born to repeat history. You were born to rewrite it. And this moment, this exact minute, is your reset button. The thoughts you choose now will build the reality you step into next. So choose wisely. You weren't born to be average. You weren't designed to walk through life playing it safe, fitting in, apologizing for your dreams. But somewhere along the way, the world tried to convince you otherwise. It whispered lies in your ears, that you're not enough, that your past defines you, that your future is fixed. But here's the truth no one told you. Your mind is the battlefield, and every day you have the power to choose which side wins. Fear, doubt, limitation. These aren't permanent. They're habits. They're programmed scripts looping in your head, written by other people's insecurities, layered over time by experiences you didn't ask for but absorbed anyway. But just like software, the mind can be rewritten. You just need to decide, right now, that the old code no longer serves you. Because from this moment on, you are not your past. You are not your trauma. You are not your mistakes. You are the choice you make in this very second, to rise, to break the pattern, to reclaim your power. Reprogramming your mind doesn't take years. It takes intention, daily, deliberate decisions, and it begins with what you allow inside. The words you say to yourself when nobody's watching. The stories you tell about who you are. Do you tell yourself you're not ready, that you're too old, too broken, that it's too late? Or do you wake up and say, I am capable, I am focused, I am becoming? Because the voice that dominates your mind is the voice that shapes your reality. Repeat this to yourself now. I am not a victim of my thoughts. I am the author of them. I choose what stays and what gets erased. That's how you reprogram. Every time fear shows up and you act anyway, you rewrite the script. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you upgrade the system. Every time you say no to distractions and yes to your future, you install a new belief, and eventually the old you becomes obsolete, replaced by a version of yourself you once only imagined. But don't be fooled. Transformation isn't always loud. It's not fireworks and applause. It's quiet. It's lonely. It's choosing growth over popularity, purpose over comfort. It's waking up every day and doing the work, even when no one's clapping for you. You want to reprogram your mind, then understand this. Comfort is the enemy. It keeps you tied to who you were yesterday. It feeds you just enough pleasure to keep you from fighting for something more. But greatness only begins where comfort ends. You don't change by wishing. You change by breaking routines, breaking excuses, breaking the limits you believed were facts. The mind resists growth. That's its default setting. Preserve, protect, survive. But you weren't born just to survive. You were born to build, to lead, to become. So here's what you do. Wake up earlier than your excuses. Train harder than your fears. Focus deeper than your distractions. And guard your mind like a fortress. Don't allow anyone's doubt to become your belief. Don't let anyone's approval become your addiction. And never ever hand your power to someone who doesn't even know your story, because your story is still being written. And you, not your fear, not your critics, not your past, you hold the pen. Let them underestimate you. Let them doubt you. But while they talk, you build. While they sleep, you move. While they fear, you act. That's how you win, quietly, relentlessly, on your terms. And when the world finally turns to ask how you did it, you won't need to explain. Your results will speak. Your energy will radiate. And your presence will demand respect. Because a reprogrammed mind doesn't chase approval. It doesn't beg for opportunity. It creates it. And every day, every choice, every action becomes a declaration. I am no longer who I was. I am becoming who I was, always meant to be. So ask yourself now, are you ready to stop reacting and start creating? Are you ready to delete the old software, the fear, the procrastination, the self-doubt? Are you ready to upgrade? If the answer is yes, then your mind, your most powerful weapon, is waiting. Let's build it. Let's rewire it. Let's rise. Because this is your time. This is your moment. And the old you has been replaced. But there's one more secret. A weapon that the most powerful minds use to reprogram themselves and reshape their lives from the inside out. It's called repetition. Every time you tell yourself something, your mind listens. And if it hears it enough times, it starts to believe it. This is why people who always say, "I'm not good enough," keep proving themselves right, not because it's true, but because the mind doesn't question repetition. It accepts it, and it becomes reality. Now ask yourself, what are you repeating to yourself every day? What kind of thoughts do you feed your mind? Because your reality is a mirror of your mental diet. If you want to reprogram your mind, you must take control of what you repeat. Not once, not twice, but every single day. Tell yourself you're focused. Tell yourself you're disciplined. Tell yourself you are in control. Even if it doesn't feel true yet, say it anyway. Because repetition doesn't require belief. It creates belief, and belief changes everything. The most successful people in the world were not born with confidence. They built it. One small thought at a time, one repetition at a time. They trained their mind until success became the only possible outcome. That's what you must do. Repetition is not about fake affirmations. It's about rewiring your subconscious. It's about programming your internal software to act, think, and feel in alignment with who you want to become. Start with 5 minutes a day. Say what you want to believe. I am unshakable. I am focused. I am disciplined. Do it every morning. Do it before bed. Do it when the world tries to break you, because that's when it matters the most. Reprogramming doesn't happen overnight, but every repetition is a drop in the bucket, and one day you'll look in the mirror and realize you've become the person you used to only talk about, because you took control of your mind. And when you control your mind, you control your future. But here's something most people ignore. Your environment is programming you too. The people you talk to, the videos you watch, the noise you scroll through. Everything is shaping your thoughts, silently, consistently. That's why it's not enough to feed your mind good thoughts. You have to protect it from poison. If someone constantly complains, cut the conversation short. If a page makes you feel small or behind in life, unfollow it. If someone laughs at your discipline, walk away, because the mind is always listening. It records what it hears, it stores what it sees. Your environment is either programming you for power or for mediocrity. Choose carefully. Just as a warrior sharpens his blade and protects it from rust, you must protect your mind from the subtle corrosion of negativity, distraction, and noise, because what surrounds you will either shape you or shatter you. Reprogramming your mind means you become intentional, not just about your thoughts but your life, and it starts now, not tomorrow, not when it feels convenient. Now, every time you breathe deeply instead of reacting, you rewire your brain. Every time you move forward despite fear, you change your programming. Every time you say no to what doesn't serve you, you reclaim your power. And each of these decisions stacks up. You are no longer living by accident. You are designing your destiny, thought by thought, habit by habit, moment by moment. Don't wait for a miracle. Be your own miracle, because the person you want to become is already inside of you. They're just waiting for you to stop feeding the old programming. It's time. Speak like the person you want to be. Think like them. Walk like them. Decide like them. Until one day you realize you've become them. You didn't change by force. You changed by choice. And that's what reprogramming your mind is all about. There comes a moment when everything clicks, when the patterns that once controlled you are suddenly transparent. When every reaction you used to have, anger, fear, doubt, starts to feel optional. You begin to understand a truth few ever realize. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer behind them. And once you understand that, you unlock your power, because thoughts come and go, emotions rise and fall, but the watcher within you, that's eternal, unshaken, and free. This is the final reprogramming of your mind. The awakening, the understanding that nothing outside you has power over your internal world unless you give it permission. People can insult you, life can shake you, storms can rage, but if your mind is trained, none of it touches the core of who you are. The core remains still, peaceful, clear, and from that stillness you act, not react. You build, not break. You move, not tremble. All the great minds understood this. Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." But belief doesn't come from hoping. It comes from mental discipline, from proving to yourself, every single day, that you can choose your thoughts, that you can redirect your focus, that you can hold your vision in your mind so clearly that reality has no choice but to bend around it. You want freedom, then stop being a prisoner to your impulses. You want peace, then stop letting your triggers run the show. You want power, then take back the one thing most people never do, your mind. Don't give it away to social media, to toxic people, to critics, to fear. Reclaim it. Protect it like it's your most sacred treasure, because it is. The mind, once reprogrammed, doesn't just change how you think, it changes how you live. You don't chase anymore. You attract. You don't beg. You build. You don't explain. You evolve. You don't need permission. You give yourself the green light. That's what mental reprogramming is. It's not just about removing the negative. It's about installing the powerful, the resilient, the focused, the unstoppable. So now ask yourself, what do you want your life to look like? What thoughts must you release? What beliefs must you rewire? Because this is your command center, and the software you choose to run determines the results you create. And let me tell you, most people are running outdated programs installed by society, by fear, by failure, by childhood wounds, by the people who doubted them. But you're writing a new code now, one that runs on confidence, vision, discipline, purpose, clarity, one that no longer waits for motivation, but builds momentum. This is your moment, your opportunity to rise, to take all the mental chaos and turn it into a symphony of power, to be the calm in the storm, the fire in the dark, the quiet force that moves mountains. You've been given a gift, the ability to think, to focus, to choose. Now use it. Reprogram your mind daily, hourly, in every decision, in every reaction, because your life will never rise above the level of your mindset. So elevate it, sharpen it, master it. And one day, very soon, the world will look at you and wonder how you became so untouchable, so steady, so focused. But you'll know the truth. You trained for this. You built this. You reprogrammed your mind, and everything else followed. So now you stand at a crossroads. One path takes you back to your old patterns, reactive, scattered, controlled by fear, by opinions, by the noise of the world. The other, it leads to mastery, to clarity, to peace. And it all begins with one quiet decision: I will take back control of my mind. This isn't magic. This is mental discipline. You don't need to be extraordinary to do it. You just need to be consistent. Every day, take 10 minutes to choose your thoughts, to visualize the life you want, to pause before you react, to remind yourself that nothing and no one has the power to pull you off course unless you let them. The battlefield is in your head, and today, you win, not with anger, not with noise, but with calm, focused, relentless inner strength. So if this message spoke to something deep inside you, if it woke something up, then don't let it fade. Anchor it, act on it, and make this your new standard.